Okay, so unpopular opinion right now. I don't like the fans are back. It's weird. I want the empty arenas again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 63 of the Essential Wrestling Podcast. Just a quick programmer note. Unfortunately, we are pre-taped today. We are not live. So those of you who want to comment about how much of an idiot I am for not liking the fans back, go for it. I won't see it. With us, as always, on the bottom part of the screen, our first ever PWB champion, the living legend, John the Connie. John, how are you today, pal?
Not bad, sir. Not bad. How are you on your outdoor adventure?
This is it. This is my annual outdoor episode. Didn't get to do it last week. It was a lot. It was rainy in Jersey. Didn't get to do it. Alpha and Ted, they're having their annual s'mores competition. So we're going to do it outside tonight. And always reminiscing John the Connie of last year doing this, where we picked the horror show at Extreme Rules. Please go back. I believe it was like episode 14 or something like that. John the Connie's rant on the Eye for an Eye match. 30 segments in Essential Wrestling Podcast history. And joining us on the top part of the screen, Mike made his cousin, John Smith. John, how's everything going today, pal? We had a fun Money in the Bank. Actually, we were out here watching Money in the Bank.
Yeah, I was sitting right next to you over there. Yeah, it was a fun time. It was the longest week of wrestling we've had since WrestleMania. We had something to watch every day, which was fun. So let's talk about it.
Yeah, it was absolutely perfect. 3 shows were scored for ProWrestlingPick'em.com. Brian Joy absolutely crushed it. We will get to that in a little bit. But on today's episode, we have Karrion Kross put Samoa Joe to sleep after his title defense on NXT. Bianca Belair showed out in front of the WWE crowd on SmackDown. That was the first crowd showing, not named WrestleMania. So Bianca Belair, she showed out. Kenny Omega got the job done at Slammiversary, but a potential new opponent arises. New champions were crowned last night on Raw. Gary Mehaffy is back to discuss NXT UK and Walter's apparent injury sustained at the hands of Ilya Dragunov. Brian Joy will join me to discuss some New Japan shows this upcoming weekend, I think. Remember, that's what he was on his slate. We forgot to talk about it pre-production. We make our picks for this week's upcoming shows. You will see all of the graphics and statistics presented, as always, by MinutesToBellTime.com, the Elias Sports Bureau of Professional Wrestling. And, of course, our picks are sponsored by ProWrestlingPick'em.com. Play against your friends. Play against the universe. And, guys, you'll like it, too. We're going to main event our show. Some more points on the line this week, albeit not a lot of points. But Fyter Fest Night 2 will be our main event. We'll be picking that show with Ryan Joy, our senior AEW correspondent. But we're going to curtain jerk this show with money. Money, 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 money. Money in the Bank from this past Sunday night. Legends were born. Heroes are made. Tears were shed. Absolutely great show. John the Connie, as we all kind of figured, main evented with the Universal Championship, with the head of the table going against the WWE Hall of Famer. Kind of hard not to main event that show. And the fun part is, no Daniel Bryan. So we got the one-on-one match we were waiting for since WrestleMania.
Yep. So Edge has nothing to complain about, right?
Nothing.
Well, not necessarily.
At least from Roman's standpoint, he doesn't have anything, or Daniel Bryan's.
So, yes, we had our one-on-one between the head of the table and the Rated R Superstar. And Edge had a little bit of he was in control early on. And about the 6.5-minute mark, Roman said, deuces. He rolled out of the ring. He was ready to take off. Heyman came and grabbed him, got him back, and, whispered in his ear, what would your father do in this situation? And that seemed to really light the fuse because Roman headed back in the ring and proceeded to beat the living hell out of Edge for the next 15 minutes, it felt like. grinding on him, laying on him, talking smack right in his ear. Edge made a small comeback. He hit his execution for 2. He had Roman on top of the post, slammed his head into the post. He fell backwards into the tree of woe. Roman missed a spear outside, crashed through the barricade. Edge, put him another piece of the barricade later, and, everything was going great right up until the Superman punch that took out Little Nate. Superman punch on Edge. Edge bumps into Little Nate. Little Nate blows out a knee. Now there's no one to count. And Edge sinks in that Roman went and got the steel bar to try and, give Edge some payback. Tried to sink in the crossface. Edge kind of blocked it. He eventually reversed it on him. There's Roman once again feeling fear. The fear in his eyes. Will he tap out? Will he not? He eventually works his way out of that. The Usos come down to try and interfere. The Mysterios cut them off. But none of that matters because eventually Seth Rollins comes in and kicks Edge in the head, breaking up the crossface. Roman sets him up. Edge cuts him off with a spear again, so maybe Edge is going to come back. No, Rollins distracts him once again, just long enough for Roman to take him out and eventually get the 1, 2, 3 after the spear. Then afterwards, we have Rollins and Edge going at it. Edge attacks Rollins. They brawl into the crowd. Roman celebrates. Everything's wonderful. And then we hear the trumpets play. John Cena makes his return to the live fan audience, WWE Universe audience. The roof comes off the goddamn building, and nothing much else happens. Then they just kind of look at each other as the pay-per-view ends, and Roman's not pleased that Cena has interrupted his moment.
No, and immediately after that show, after all was said and done and cleaned up, everybody left. I went back to the year 2017 and I watched that Raw promo where John Cena just completely shredded Roman Reigns on the microphone. It's probably one of my favorite Raw moments of all time. And John Takagi, we're going to get more into John Cena a little bit because he came out last night, but how many years in a row on my WrestleMania prediction cards has Roman Reigns versus John Cena been on that in a non-title match? And we said we got it, but I had it for at least 3 years in a row.
Absolutely. Something tells me he's going to make an appearance again.
Yeah, but this was going to be the time. I just want the grudge match. That's what I got at No Mercy. I was happy with that. Passing of the torch. I got 3 of them here. I think John Cena passed one of them. Now he's looking for it back. I don't know. Can he take the torch back once he passes it? John Smith, men's Money in the Bank ladder match did not disappoint at all. 8 top competitors. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, they didn't go too overboard with the spots, but the spots they did were freaking awesome, especially what Kevin Owens took. He took a power bomb onto the ladder standing up on its side rather than just flat. He took one through the ladder out over, set up on the outside. Unbelievable match. Who won it? Oh, yeah, Big E won it.
Big E, yeah.
I couldn't, for a second, I forgot who the hell won it. Because, I wasn't a big fan of him winning that match. I don't think he's going to cash in on Roman and beat him anytime soon. So it's we got to watch Big E shake his waist for the next 6 months with that briefcase. But I digress. I mean, a lot of people thought this was going to happen. I went with Riddle, but Big E deserves it or whatever. But I just don't see him taking the title from Roman Reigns. So maybe he'll end up on Raw in October after the draft, whatever, if that's.
Well, even sooner than that. I believe the draft is scheduled. And this is how rumors get started. I believe the draft is scheduled the week after SummerSlam or 2 weeks after SummerSlam, somewhere in that area. So we're not going to have to wait too long. It's going to get drafty in here real quick. John Takagi in another match. I mean, this match had the crowd on its feet. The Raw Women's Championship. They went all out. John Smith, I'm sitting next to him. I'm like, this is why Charlotte's considered the best, and this is why Rhea is considered right next to her. You know, John shook his head. Yeah, that's fine. But this is they know how to show out when the spotlight's on.
Yeah, well, and I think that was very important to the match because you know, from my perspective, at the beginning of this match, the crowd was not into it. The crowd was not loving this because I guess, you know, there was kind of the feeling that, all right, we think Charlotte's probably going to win, and even though she's probably the greatest female competitor of all time, I don't think anyone was overly excited for another Charlotte title run, but the crowd was not into Rhea at all. So I mean, Jesus, they hadn't even gone to collar and elbow, and there was already a "We Want Becky" chant, which led to Charlotte flipping off the crowd, crotch chopping the crowd. But they got the crowd to come around. They got you know, somewhere. How long this match? This was like a 16-minute match. Somewhere not too far into it, there was that weird spot where Rhea and Charlotte, where it looked like Rhea was going for a package pile driver. And she flipped her through, and then she was suddenly in a guillotine, and eventually it ended with her absolutely beasting her up into a suplex, and that seemed to kind of grab the crowd. And from that point on, obviously the spots they did some amazing spots. It was a great match, and from that point on, the fans were right there with the two of them. They were going nuts. Charlotte reverses a Riptide into a DDT. She hits a top turnbuckle natural selection, but only for two. But eventually, she would run Rhea's head into the ring post, trap her leg between the stairs, and work on the ankle, the leg, the knee, whatever the hell it was. And she would eventually lock in the figure eight, and Rhea had no place else to go. She had to tap. Your winner by submission and new Raw Women's Champion, Charlotte Flair.
Yeah, and if you throw in there WrestleMania 36, that's twice now. The two matches that actually had, you know, legit decisions in them, you know, they fought at Hell in a Cell. That was a disqualification. Then they had the three-way match where Rhea won, but Charlotte wasn't involved in the pinfall. Charlotte's gotten her twice now, via submission, via the figure eight. So it looks like Rhea's a little more tap-happy than we want to give her credit for. So, and then with the women's Money in the Bank, you know, going right to it, Nikki Ash got it done. We will talk more about her once we get to the Raw segment. Fun little ending. 6 women competitors that were not named Nikki Ash, and I believe Alexa Bliss was buried in a pile of ladders on the ground. The other 6 were going up, fighting amongst each other, and here comes our superhero with a rocket right to the moon, or at least to the briefcase, and she got it done as the world rejoiced. And we will get to Nikki Ash in just a moment. So it's just because her weekend or her night was not done. Well, night was done, but you know what I'm trying to say. Last night. John Smith. We kind of warned Kofi. He's got a different Bobby Lashley going at him, and Bobby was pissed.
Yeah, this match went much differently than the other championship match at the end of the show. This and rightfully so, because Bobby Lashley is just a monster, and they got to keep building him up that way. And you know, Kofi got his offense in. It wasn't a squash, but it only went like 7 or 8 minutes. You know, what was it? 3 dominators in a row, and then he just makes him tap out to the Hurt Lock. Didn't even make him pass out. Kofi tapped out, so it was just like definitive victory.
Yeah, he's squash. I mean, it wasn't a Brock Lesnar squash, but he said he was pissed off. He was angry, and it showed. And he said that last night as well. We'll get to Bobby again. But the finish, rounding out Money in the Bank, AJ Styles and Omos, they defeated the Viking Raiders after a double-handed choke slam by Omos onto Eric, and they retained the Raw Tag Team titles. On the SmackDown side, on the kickoff show, the Usos, they are now 7-time champions. They defeated the Mysterios with the Raw roll-up, tight hooked, and an assist from Jimmy on the outside, pushing leverage to help Jay keep the cover, and they are now the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. And let's go to the scoreboard for our WWE standings from Money in the Bank. Ryan Joy nailed it, 6-0. He now is 16-2 overall with 101 points. Not on this list is his wife Maggie, who actually her undefeated streak came to an end. She had Rhea Ripley beating Charlotte. That did not happen. So But she got everything else right. So Maggie went 5-1, got both Money in the Bank ladder matches correct. She actually sits at 102, so she's actually 1 point ahead of Ryan in the standings for my pool on ProWrestlingPick'em.com. Hopefully Maggie will be on again. We invited her to the SummerSlam show. We'll get into more of that later. Maggie won't be able to make it, but we will definitely make sure we get her picks for that so we can spoil the entire show for everybody. Going to Raw last night, Charlotte got in the ring, John Nakani. Charlotte got in the ring for her celebration. It was a celebration, bitches. She got into the ring for her celebration, and she said that she could beat Rhea any day of the week. And she's proved it twice. She beat her at WrestleMania, and then the night before Money in the Bank. But it just so happens that Monday is technically a day of the week. So Pierce and Sonya booked it, and they main evented the show.
Yes. Now let's not play around. The Queen was there to address her subjects as their 11-time champion, and she was perfectly fine with fighting Rhea any day of the week. She was just kind of doing it for Rhea's sake, like you just took a beating. I'm gonna give you the day off. Pierce and Sonya were having none of it. Rhea was having none of it. So that was booked for what would wind up to be the main event. So Charlotte and Rhea, they lock horns. This is 12 minutes more of that beautiful match we had from the night before. And then at some point, Charlotte goes, you know what? I'm just not feeling it tonight. She rolls out. She grabs her belt. She's headed up the ramp. Well, Rhea's not going to just allow that to happen, so she chases her down, and Charlotte, very calculated, I believe, was peering over her shoulder the whole time, waiting for Rhea to come after her so she could turn around and blast her with the Raw Women's title, causing the DQ. But wait, there's more. They would brawl outside, and it would eventually lead to Rhea hitting the Riptide on the floor. And if you were paying attention, before Rhea even got her up for the Riptide, the LED board along the ring it turned blue and yellow because our resident almost superhero was on her way out with her pretty little white Money in the Bank briefcase. She would cash it in as Rhea would help roll Charlotte back in. Charlotte would stumble to her feet, and Nikki Ash would hit a high crossbody to cover her in about 10 seconds, and we have a new Raw Women's Champion.
Yeah, she becomes, and this kind of shocked me, the Raw Women's Championship, well, before it was the Raw, it had a brief stint. It was just called the WWE Women's Championship that took over for the Divas title at WrestleMania 32. Charlotte alluded to, she was the last ever Divas champion. She's also the first ever WWE Women's Champion, which transformed into Raw. So that was, I guess 5 years ago, somewhere in there. Nikki Cross now, Nikki Ash, Nikki ASH, I'm not even saying the Ash anymore. Nikki ASH is now the 10th. She's number 10. Raw Women's Champion in history. I feel like there kind of should have been more, but I guess 5 Charlotte reigns, probably 6 Sasha Banks reigns. Becky had it for a year. Only had it once, but she had it for a year. So yeah, she becomes number 10. So there's that trivia question. And as far as women's Money in the Bank briefcases, the women don't seem to have a lot of patience here with that briefcase. Carmella had it for a long time. That's fine. She's the exception. But Alexa Bliss, night of. Bayley, night of. Asuka didn't even have to do anything. She was just presented the belt. And now Nikki Cross the day after. I guess women need to be a little more patient. I guess, if it's working, right? I guess there hasn't been a failed attempt yet. And 3 of them now have been on Charlotte. Bayley cashed in on Charlotte. Carmella did. And now Nikki ASH. The other one, Alexa Bliss, she cashed in on Nia Jax. They showed that video on Sunday, actually, when Alexa walked the aisle and then stood on the rope. John Smith actually pointed out, great leg strength by Alexa Bliss standing on those ropes for all 8 entrances. My leg would have cramped. I probably would have fell over and been eliminated from the Royal Rumble. But shout out to Alexa Bliss.
And a good 2 minutes into the match. Also, she had to be up there for 15 minutes straight.
Yeah,
in the same exact spot.
She's like, how does she do that? I'm like, I think she works out for a living. I think that's her job. I think she actually has to train for this job. So maybe probably some squats and some leg lifts are in the diet at the gym. Yeah. John Smith, Bobby Lashley, like I said, he came out. He was pissed off. He actually was going to grant an open challenge. He's motivated. He just wants to just continue hurting people. Crowd started chanting one name, but we got somebody else who we haven't seen in a long time. And a clever Twitter handle by this guy. His Twitter handle was Eventually.
I didn't know that was his Twitter handle.
Yeah,
That's pretty funny.
I caught that the other day.
Yeah, so we got Lashley making an open challenge, not for the belt, though, just an open challenge. And we get Keith Lee. I had no idea who it was. They were zoomed in, so we couldn't see the Titantron. I didn't recognize the music. And I was like, oh, I forgot about Keith Lee. I didn't, forget about Keith Lee, but he was not even remotely one of the people that I thought was going to be coming out. But it was him. They put on a pretty decent match, even though it only lasted 5 or 6 minutes. And then Lashley just straight up won clean with a spine buster. It wasn't even a spear. Maybe he hit him with the spear beforehand, but he beat him with the spine buster, I believe, right? Or was it did he put the hurt lock on him? I don't think so.
No, he couldn't get the hurt lock on him. He speared him on the outside, speared him on the inside.
Yeah.
That got the job done. And John, back-to-back matches. We're going to talk about this match next to him. I'm going to get into it. Back-to-back. Here goes Raw ripping off AEW. Championship eliminator matches in Raw, in the WWE world. They're called championship contender matches. So there we go. We got one on SmackDown too. I'm gonna do that later. But yeah, here goes Raw ripping off AEW. Right. The hell, back-to-back matches. The other one, if Humberto Carrillo, if he beat Sheamus, he was gonna get a U.S. title match. Turns out it was Batman representing Sheamus. I didn't even know Sheamus. I didn't see Sheamus at all. But Batman won with the bro kick. Pretty good match. Humberto Carrillo did a pretty good job. But then I guess the face plate is made of steel. I guess it has to be bulletproof. The Joker's firing bullets at you. Carrillo went punching her in his hand, took a bro kick, and then so that's a Carrillo. Carrillo, I guess, is not allowed to challenge for the U.S. title. I guess Sheamus has got to move forward, but in the back, Damian Priest was lurking, so it looks like that is where we're headed. I have a mock SummerSlam card made. We'll do that at the very end of all of this. John Smith. Fun little fact. Karrion Kross has never been pinned in WWE
until
happened. What the hell?
All right, so we get the backstage promo. I'm like, all right, we get Karrion Kross already. He's still got the belt. What's going on here? Then he comes on the screen. There's no smoke. There's none of that, dry ice around us. That smoke they do. I'm like, all right, well, at least he's got no Scarlet. So he comes out to the ring. And then he's not much reaction from the people, which is fine because not everybody watches NXT.
Well, they were in awe of him too. Like, oh wow, look at this guy.
Yeah, I didn't even get that impression, to be honest with you.
I'm trying to spin it for you. You're good. No, they were in awe.
So we didn't get the awesome entrance. The music doesn't make sense without Scarlett, doing the lip syncing to it, which is fine because she's the one singing it anyway. But then they get into the match with Jeff Hardy, and it's like, all right, cool. You can squash Jeff Hardy. That's a guy that could take a squash and still be believable as Intercontinental Champion the next day. Nope. Karrion Kross gets the Raw roll up, kind of with the assist of the second rope. So it wasn't a clean victory for Jeff Hardy. But what the hell are they doing? Like, I get it. You're going to have Karrion Kross dismantle Jeff Hardy over the next month or two, or maybe just a few weeks, and this is the setup for it. But he's never lost a match, except when he couldn't get the job done with Finn Balor against Oni Lorcan.
I like that. That's Borkin and Lurch. Now it's just Loney Orkin. I like that.
Yeah, because he's alone. He's alone.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, the oldest trick in the book, Karrion Kross. Who knew that his kryptonite after all this time was the Raw roll-up? He didn't do any research. He just showed up like, oh, I can just take these guys. I don't have to do any pre-tape match. And the Raw roll-up got him. I guess Jeff Hardy had his new entrance, or his old entrance music back. I guess his band or whatever he used to do. So I guess new entrance music trumps NXT Championship debut. Oh boy!
I quit.
Yeah.
I quit. Like, what are they doing? What, like, I know I like to defend WWE for the most part because, like,
Yep.
you can't make everyone happy, but it's like you got this great thing going with Cross on NXT right now, and then you just make them look stupid. You don't make them look weak, but you look stupid. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, so they brought back Keith Lee, nothing. They brought back Karrion Kross, nothing. All right. In other news, the tag team champions, Natalya and Tamina, they defeated Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. Again, because Reggie screwed up. After the match, Shayna threw up the ultimatum to Nia Jax, her or Reggie. Nia responded with a headbutt to Reggie, so that answered that question. So Reggie in the ground, he's hurting his head. He'll just watch another girl dump him. He's down low. And here comes the 24/7 crowd. Tozawa goes flying into the ring. Doesn't really think anything of Reggie, but then Reggie, did whatever, jumping, whatever Reggie does. Ended up he did a flipping earthquake, what Earthquake used to do back in the early 90s. So we have our new 24/7 champion. So right then, there again, Reggie's down, but now he's back up again. And now I've seen on TV a couple times over the past couple months that ultimate tag that's on, it's on not FX, it's on like FS1 every once in a while, or ESPN, the Ocho. Reggie needs to be in ultimate tag. Like, he was flying around at the end. They're never going to catch him. He is going to be the longest reigning 24/7 champion, I believe, in his run. They can't catch him. So going forward, Jackson Rager defeated Elias in the Symphony of Destruction match. Elias now 0-2 in those matches. After superplexing Elias off the top rope to the outside through some tables, so that was a fun ending. Drew McIntyre interrupted Shanker Chiff's singing of Happy Birthday to Jinder Mahal by cracking everybody with a chair, and Shanky got it 20 times. So there's that, WWE initiation. I was reminiscent of Dominic Mysterio taking those kendo stick shots, and then you saw Shanky's back. Shanky, I called him Shanker Chiff. That's his full name. Shanky's back. Was all bloodied and bruised after that. So he got his initiation. I wonder if Veers or whatever his name is going to get it up soon. Eva Marie and Doudrop, they crashed Lily's big return to Alexa's playground. Alexa challenged Eva Marie to a one-on-one. She likes Doudrop. I think Doudrop might be doing a little switch here. I think we're going to get like an eviler side of Doudrop at some point. I think Lily's going to want to play with Doudrop. That'd be fun.
Doudrop.
So that will be that's that. Going into next week, we have 2 matches announced. One, the tag team champion, we'll get to in a second, but in the back, Mansoor, I believe he's taking Mustafa Ali's advice a little too weirdly. He's learning from all these mistakes that Ali's doing to him. So now he's like, instead of just screwing me over, just teach me. I'll listen. I'm getting it. So Mansoor asked Ali to be a tag team partner. Ali, he agreed to it, just told him not to screw up, which I'm sure he'll do at some point. But they're going to be debuting as a tag team next week on Raw. And then John DeConnie, we had a 6-man tag team match that'll lead into the second match announced. That started the show.
Yes, we had Riddle teaming with the Viking Raiders to take on the tag team champions AJ and Omos and Johnny Drip Drip. So we got look at that. Look at those 6 people. At least 5 of them can fly all over the place. We got a good 12-minute match out of this, right up until the point where Riddle snuck around the corner and sprayed Omos with a dripstick. But because Omos, he takes his time with just about everything he does, by the time he turned around, Riddle had hidden behind the ring steps, tossed the dripstick back to Miz, leaving Miz to take the blame. So Omos started stalking Miz, who's wheeling himself, thank God it wasn't a ramp this week. He's wheeling himself back up the entryway. John Morrison comes out to try and explain to Omos, gets between the two of them. He winds up taking a quick little beating and just getting ragdoll tossed right back into the ring, which unfortunately led right into the loving arms of the Viking Raiders and a Viking experience for the 1-2-3 victory for the Viking Raiders and Riddle.
Yeah, and that somehow leads into a Raw Tag Team Championship rematch where the Viking Raiders are going to get another crack at Styles and Omos, a rematch from Money in the Bank. John Smith, is anyone going to beat Omos? Like, I can't see this. I don't know.
It feels like something that Vince would do. Just have them lose the titles on Raw and like have AJ get pinned so Omos is still protected. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Viking Raiders on this one. Unfortunately,
wow, new tag change. Yeah, and see now that Miz and Morrison's in this, John the Connie has explained they're a little pissed that that Omos didn't believe them. So maybe some chicanery, if that is a real word, if I said that correctly, by Miz and Morrison.
Yes, you did. Yeah, I could see that, but I'm still holding out hope that, first of all, Randy Orton is not, gone forever. So I'm still holding out hope for Riddle and Orton to take those titles off AJ and Omos. So I'm gonna stay with AJ and Omos retaining here.
Yeah, I'll do that I'm gonna go with that as well. I like that theory. That could be great. That's a great match for the tag titles at SummerSlam. I gotta put that on my potential list when this episode's over. I'll put that for next week. But then the show began as we were all promised with John Cena. The trumpets hit. John the Connie, please play his music again. There you go. And again, John Cena comes out, a huge pop. Nobody is chanting John Cena sucks. Like everyone's just so happy that everyone's back. I guess they're just gonna cut John a pass. So John Cena, he opened the show by calling Roman Reigns an asshole. And then he says that Roman Reigns needs to be knocked down a peg. And this is going to be our smooth transition from Raw to SmackDown. John Cena says he's heading over there to confront Roman Reigns in person, face-to-face. And on a side note, shame on Ryan Joy from Minutes to Bell Time. I don't know how he got a picture of John Cena. Somehow he caught it. I figured you couldn't see him, so it was kind of tough to get a picture. But Ryan Joy, I guess. Shame on him for missing the joke, but good for him. He actually found the picture of John Cena. Wow.
I actually thought it was illegal to take pictures of John Cena.
It's like it was almost like Bigfoot, right? He just
like the Eiffel Tower.
On SmackDown, here we go again. Here goes SmackDown ripping off AEW. Another Champions Contender match, John the Connie. Our recent beloved NXT call-ups. Shotzi and Nox, or Nox Shotzi, Noxy. Too soon?
Shots and Nox? I don't know.
Noxy? No, too soon with that, right? I better
It'll always be too soon on that one.
Yeah. I better not see that on TV, right? They got it done. It was a brawl that ensued that kind of caused a distraction, but
yeah, Liv and Zelina decided to join the commentary, talking about the Money in the Bank match, blah, 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 blah. Within 3 minutes, they're brawling at ringside. At one point, Liv kind of like jumps into the ring and out of the ring just to avoid Zelina so she could, jump off the ring stairs and hit her with a clothesline. And that distraction allows Nox to get the Raw roll-up, even though it's on SmackDown. She pins Natty for the 1-2-3, and I assume they will get, because it is a Champions Contender match thingamabob, they will get a tag title match somewhere down the line. Afterwards, Natty and Tamina attack Liv and Zelina. Liv would hit the code breaker on Natty and point to the briefcase, which we thought at the time was a harbinger to our beloved Jersey Girl winning the Money in the Bank match, but that would not be.
No, that was 15 points well lost. I thought Liv did great there in Money in the Bank, so I'll bet on her again, even when I watch the replay.
That is such an Al Karl thing to do.
I bet on Liv Morgan in the replay, and I'll bet on the Miz against a bunch of zombie vampires or whatever those things are. Cesaro defeated Otis, but I'll forget to bet on Chris Sabin. Cesaro defeated Otis via DQ when Gable just hopped in and just suplexed Cesaro. Cesaro then took Gable swinging, but that was stopped by Otis, and then Otis eventually hit the Vader bomb on Cesaro. So that could be a potential fun match for SummerSlam. We'll see where that goes. Also, we have, again, some unfortunate news. I'll put up the graphic right now. Please go to CorbinFund.com or GoFundMe.com / Corbin to help Baron get back on his feet. So he could use some of our help right now. I forgot to cue up Sarah McLachlan. I will remember you. I forgot to cue that up on my phone, so that's my fault.
It's In the Arms of an Angel. In the arms.
Baron Corbin got down on his knees for us to help him. You can donate to him. I don't know. Or you could donate to Don West, his fight with lymphoma or whatever. You know, there's other probably things. I think Baron Corbin is fine. But fun job by Baron. Next week, one last thing. Sami Zayn came out saying there was a conspiracy that he wasn't in Money in the Bank, and he was interrupted by Finn Balor. So Finn Balor now re-debuting on the main roster. Sami took a swing out of a miss and then took a coup de grace for his efforts. So we got Finn Balor, we got Tegan and Shotzi, we got Keith Lee back. We have Karrion Kross. NXT, I guess this breakout tournament is actually coming at a very good time for NXT. I guess Hunter knew all that was coming. So this week on SmackDown, actually will be airing from 2 different venues. John Cena, as you said, he announced he drew the short straw. He'll be in Cleveland. I shouldn't take any. I don't know. I've never been to Cleveland, so I couldn't tell you. Actually, and Toni Storm will probably be there as well. Toni Storm, again, another NXT. She is going to be making her main roster SmackDown debut. There will also be airing from, I guess, some kind of rock concert in Miami, where there will be a rematch for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Last week, Bianca Belair, she defeated Carmella with the kiss of death. And they're just going to go at it again. This was the big match that started the weekend off with the live crowd, and now they're going to put them in the middle of a rock concert, John DeConnie.
Yeah, sure. And Bianca will retain. She'll use that illegal hair to whip her again, and she'll probably deliver another kiss of death. And hopefully the whole thing leads up to, some surprise return at the end, because otherwise, why would we care?
John Smith.
Yeah, I'm just interested if it's Rick Boogs' concert. That's the only thing that I want to know.
Yeah, we got completely robbed of him playing Randy Orton's music, huh?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go with Bianca Belair, and I should just delete this. Here's the reason why. Here's what we're kind of thinking is going to happen at SummerSlam, at least in my opinion. Potential matches coming up. You got Lashley and Goldberg. You got Reigns and John Cena. Sheamus and Damian Priest looks like a gimme. Edge and Rollins, they're going to go at it. McIntyre, Jinder Mahal. We got into that. You got a Revenge of Shanky. I got Bianca Belair going against Sasha Banks. I'm assuming if that one mystery person you're thinking of is John DeConnie.
Yes,
if you're at a rock concert, you might as well bring Sasha Banks back. That's a good time as any to bring her in. And, of course, now that we have a new Raw Women's Champion, it's time for Eva Marie to take that away from Nikki ASH. So that looks that to happen as well. And that's how rumors get started. I asked Ryan about that on Monday. That I had to sort through that. I told him what the source was mean, so I'm not even going to bother. Gentlemen, we are going to bid you adieu for the time being. Please go say hello to your loved ones. Go get some groceries. As we bring in Gary Mehaffy. Gary, congratulations, pal. Right off the bat, I have to congratulate you. Another Scottish Nikki Cross, new women's champion. There you go, pal.
I'm well deserved. I heard Uncle Dave talking about it and saying, and it's true, everybody in the UK scene is so happy for her. She really is. She's wrestled over here for some of the companies over here. Everywhere she's wrestled, everybody just thinks she's lovely as a really, really nice girl. So it's great for her to finally have the opportunity to get into the mix. And now she's not only got the briefcase, but she's cashed it in and won the belt. So it's absolutely brilliant for her.
Yeah, it's that she didn't. Women have no patience, I guess. I don't know.
I'm saying.
She waited. I know exactly, but she waited a day longer than most of them did. So I guess she's got a little bit. But yeah, she saw an opportunity. She took it.
Yeah.
But Gary, unfortunately, we have some other, I guess, weird news. We were scheduled to have a Nxt UK Championship rematch. They had the press conference to start the show last Thursday. Dragunov, he wore a gray turtleneck. He was winning the psychological war, in my opinion, on Walter. I'm a huge turtleneck fan. I was going to give Dragunov the advantage here. It turns out that after the press conference was over, there were no cameras around. Dragunov snapped and injured Walter's left hand to the point where we were getting the match.
So it says, and it was obviously like very last minute because it was just the cut in saying, "Oh, this has happened," and away they went. And apparently it is legit that he has injured himself. Obviously, rumor was it may not have quite been at the hands of Dragunov. It might have been at one of the training get yourselves back in shape sessions, apparently. But the same sort of one that Bailey got injured at. But he has, he's been injured. Like the press conference stuff was amazing, and some of those can either be really crap and a bit twee or really good. And this one was amazing. The passion from them both, the way they both were, having actual proper reporters there to ask the questions was really good. And obviously this new match was due to take place at the next set of tapings. And obviously the injury happened in between. So we'll find out this week exactly what they're going to do. Hopefully it's not going to be too long, that they'll still be able to go back to it pretty quickly. Because everybody was looking forward to it. And even Triple H gave it the seal of approval at the very start of the show as well, talking about how amazing it was going to be. So hopefully Walter won't be out too long and we'll be right back to having that match.
Yeah, okay, let's just stay with the story here. I think this is a genius plan by Ilya Dragunov. You know, it's almost what Ciampa was trying to do with Stand and Deliver. It was the right hand, but he takes away that back slap, that knife edge from Walter. Dragunov, that was a thinking psychotic attack there, I guess. I'm sure he snapped, but it looks like there was a
method to his madness.
Yeah, exactly. Method to that. Perfect. That was exactly what I was trying to think of. But championships are everywhere. We were supposed to get that. I guess eventually will. We actually had 2 last week that I wasn't even aware of. We didn't even pick them. And I guess they were announced on an NXT the night after we taped our show. But we had the Heritage Cup Championship match with Mark Coffey and Tyler Bate due to that quick 5 across the eyes at the end of Tyler Bate's last title defense against Jack Stars.
Now, are you back? Were you gone? Everything kind of went down for about 5 seconds there.
Okay, yeah, I'm back. I didn't see. I didn't feel like
we both went. Both the screens were refreshing. So where were we? Go back in again. Where were we there? I missed.
No. To say the Mark Coffey. This is the match with Tyler Bate. This was as a result of Mark Coffey's giving him 5 across the eyes after Tyler's title defense against Jack Stars.
Yeah, I mean, and it was good because I was watching it thinking, will they just kind of do 2 straight? But they made it competitive, and obviously it was 2 falls to 1 that it was done. And I think what it will do is it will continue the process of having a tag match at some point between Gallus and Mustache Mountain and so on. So it's just another layer, and we've said that before. The NXT UK, and I know, but some of it is because they tape a few episodes in a row, but because you do that, they have something that means something that goes on to something else. It goes on to something else. Everything has a point. And so this match, as good as it was, and it was really good, and Tyler Bate is one of the best that's out there. But as I say, it'll lead into further down the line for that tag team match as well. So.
Yeah, all 4 of them, Trent Seven and Wolfie, they were out there as well, Wolfgang, and all 4 of them shook hands. Sign of respect after the match, which is very un-Gallus-like in my opinion. So I was a little shocked. I was waiting for the cheap shot, and it just didn't happen. So,
I think it'll come. I think it's putting the worm on the end of the line, as the fishermen would say. They'll just try and hook Mustache Mountain in and see if they can catch them out, and then take them when they can.
And then Miko Satomura, she had her first championship title defense. She promised Amal the shot. Amal took it. Amal gave her a run for her money, but
yeah, close but no cigar.
Yeah,
as I say. But no, she got her match, and I think it was the match was as much for Amal, even for management to say, okay, show us what you've got. So for her to really go out, and for the time they were given to try and put it all out there. So.
Yeah, not to mention this is the Miko Satomura tour, and I was like, oh my god, I want to fight. You know, she's the greatest ever. Like, it just everyone's gonna get their turn. Right, just relax.
Yeah.
Like, well, yeah, that was Amal. Now Amal can say she wrestled Miko Satomura on television. So, yeah, she got the win with the Scorpio Rising to retain the NXT Women's title. And then we had the tag team match. Teal Man and Rohan Raja, they defeated Ashton Smith and Oliver Carter after Raja's flatliner into Teal Man's crossface. So they were a very well-established working unit so far. I like that tag team.
Yeah, they are. They really are. As I said last week, I thought that maybe we'd lead to Oliver Carter maybe turning, and it hasn't. Because Smith and Carter are a good tag team as well. They're just missing something. I'm not really sure what it is to kind of get them over the line. But as you say, Teal Man and Raja really did gel well, and it's the start of a good thing for them. It's the start of putting a bit of a push, a bit of weight behind the family. So, yep.
We did a medical update on A-Kid, and A-Kid said that he's just sick and tired of Jordan Devlin. So I was like, how you feeling? I'm just sick and tired of Jordan Devlin. So apparently he requested a 30-minute Iron Man match once he is medically cleared. So Gary, we're gonna eventually talk about that match and then cover it. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. Looking forward to that.
It's one of those segments again that made me kind of go, whoa. I thought the thought of them for 30 minutes is just amazing.
Like I said, they put him in Mick Webster's or O Webster's, whatever kind of dictionary you have overseas. The definition of a wrestling clinic was that match. We're going to do it for 30 minutes next time. Effie Valkyrie, she did a video package, said Ginny declared war on the wrong person. And it seems like Ginny, she's going to have a response now. She is going to be on the Supernova Nova Sessions along with Joseph Connor. So that's going to be fun. I don't know if you're going to be looking forward to this or not, Gary, but you had a wild prediction that about Ginny is the greatest women's wrestler of all time. I believe that was in the private chat.
Can't wait. And it's a big, good program for her to be with Aoife as well, because she's obviously, Aoife's great. And Ginny does have the personality and does have the whole gimmick side coming into it. So again, every Supernova Sessions means something. And I think this one will mean something as well.
And like I said, there's a lot of title matches going on. We had 2 last week. We were supposed to have 2 this week. Walter's not happening, but the other one is Webster and Andrews Subculture. They're looking to become the first ever 2-time UK Tag Team Champions. On the other hand, Stoker and Howley, they wore sleeveless turtlenecks in their video promo. And Gary, to me, that is pretty deadly.
It was. I laughed when I saw the sleeveless turtlenecks. I have to say, that did make me laugh. As much as I would love, and I do love Subculture, and as much as I would love them to win, I can't see them taking the belts off Pretty Deadly yet. So I think something may happen. It may well be maybe somebody else, maybe a female wrestler sides with Pretty Deadly, and then we head down the 6-man or the mixed tag route or whatever. But I think they're going to Pretty Deadly on retain.
I'm going to go Pretty Deadly as well, not only for the sleeveless turtlenecks, but the one thing that we really haven't talked about, I believe the 1 week they did it 2 weeks in a row. The one time I was off, we didn't get to talk about it. Their commentary, no one's ever done UK commentary like they do in Raw and SmackDown, whatever, where they have wrestlers do it. They were pretty good. I enjoyed them. I thought they were, so I want to keep them doing that, just being the kind of the jerks that they are.
Yeah, no, they've been good. It's been good that they've given them a good bit of promo time, and as you say, the commentary's helped them get over as well more.
So Gary, going into Wednesday night Fighter Fest Night 2, there's some points on the line on ProWrestlingPick'em.com. Anything wild, anything outlandish? Jon Moxley's got to retain his. He's got to defend the IWGP US Championship for the 2nd week in a row. It's going to be a Texas death match. I guess they did a Texas death match in Japan.
A Texas meth match? Now that would be one worth watching. Yes. That would be certainly.
That'd be a lot of fire on that one. Any wild predictions here?
No, I was actually just bringing them up because I was trying to see what all the matches were. I've forgotten which ones were coming up. Let me see. Let me try see if I can actually pick them up for 2 seconds here. No, I can't find. I can't even bring them up. So I was trying to say what I was doing. Oh, there we go. Oh yeah, I'm going to. No, I don't. From looking at the ones that are there, I can't see it. You're still going to have Britt. Let's see. Is that Britt Baker? Yeah, it is. Yeah, Moxley. Moxley, I think will go over. I think it'll be good. I think it'll be close with Lance Arch. I'm still surprised they're actually defending it on the show, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
But it does show that the relationship with New Japan is pretty much set. Never mind the WWE talks that we're doing. But I'm going to say, yeah, I'm going to stick with the usual. I'll stick with Moxley to go over and Britt Baker to go over Nyla Rose, I think, as well. So.
All right. Sounds good, Gareth. Thank you so much for spending some time with us. I see some daylight back there. Glad you're not staying up.
I know. I will just say, with looking what's behind you, I was half expecting to see Isla Dawn walk around the corner behind you there and kind of come out with it.
Gary, have a great night. We will talk to you next week.
See you there.
So we're going to bring back in John Smith. We are going to bring back in John DeConti. We are going to throw up the Slammiversary graphic. And John DeConti, we had a huge main event, no disqualifications, and my wife and I, we watched it live. There's the one we watched live. We watched the rest on replay, but that pizza cutter, that just kind of just turns our stomach a little bit.
Yeah. This one's had a very quick start. Is my volume getting weird on you?
Good. Nope, you're good.
All right, so this one had a fast start. Sammy attacked before the bell even started, and the ref just kind of went like, "How the hell we'll start it anyway." Sammy, as the bell is ringing, Sammy's hitting a package pile driver. He got a 2 count out of it, and then he produced a fork, and then he produced a pizza cutter, and within a couple of minutes, our champion Kenny Omega is wearing the Crimson Mask. And about 10 minutes later, Sammy would have some color of his own. The two of them just beat the living hell out of each other using everything under the sun, including about 15 minutes into this match, Sammy moved the ring steps, and there was a barbed wire wrapped chair there. Both men would take ugly bumps on it. And then Kenny would hit the Fuji.
Yes.
And this would lead to Sammy, who was just Fuji'd by a man outside the ring, turning around and hitting a package pile driver on the referee who was standing right next to him, but he couldn't see who it was.
Yeah.
So that would lead to all kinds of ridiculousness. The Good Brothers would try to come down to ringside and get involved. They were warded off by Sabin. Sammy would. Now this happened twice last week across the Forbidden Portal there, where someone introduced tax into the match. First it was Eddie Kingston. This time it was Sammy, and those would immediately lead to their own downfall.
Yeah.
Because the tax were poured out by Sammy. Omega would immediately kneel in them to load up his knee pad for a V-trigger. He would stuff a bunch in Sammy's mouth, deliver the V-trigger, deliver the one-wing angel into the tax, and get the win in about 27 minutes. And, he's still your Impact World Champion. But that's not where it ended, because Don and Kenny and Don and Karl and Doc Gallows eventually come down. They're celebrating. The Bullet Club is very happy. Everything is wonderful. And then the lights go out. And it was dark for a good, couple of seconds there. It wasn't just lights out, lights in, and Sabu's in the middle of the ring. Lights were down for about 10 seconds. And then all of a sudden, the Bullet Club flashes over the Tron. All right, Bullet Club's in the ring. What the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
Jay White makes an appearance, comes, strolling through that Forbidden Portal, and comes down to the ring. And this is where Impact is going to impact. The gentlemen that are in the ring are all throwing up the too sweet. Jay is sitting there. We don't know what his intentions are. He doesn't make a move, doesn't change his facial expression, and the pay-per-view ends. A keener eye than myself, like you, Al Karl, caught someone bolting down to the ring just as the pay-per-view was going black. Turned out it was Finn Juice, because they've got issues going back to Japan with Jay White. We don't know what in God's name is going on there, but could be some very interesting things coming this Thursday.
Yeah, there's just a lot going on right now in Impact, and My only comment on this, you know, the thumbtacks is going back to Africa. Just thank God they were Impact thumbtacks and not the, you know, the 5-foot razors that AEW uses. I know he's AEW, so I'm just glad that, you know, that was that shit. But yeah, that's the Forbidden Door against New Japan is just, it's everywhere now. They're in AEW, now they're in Impact, and Kenny Omega could go for another belt with the Never Openweight Championship. So it's you know, Jay White came in with hardware. And speaking of which, Deonna Purrazzo, hashtag Jersey Strong, she got the job done. She had a mystery opponent, but it ended up being Thunder Rosa, and I jumped out of my chair for that one. I'm like, nice, she gets to beat Thunder Rosa. That's a huge quality opponent. You know, never once having a doubt in my mind that Deonna was going to lose, and she didn't. She won. She defended the Knockouts Championship with the win. Mickie James came out afterwards and invited Deonna Purrazzo to her Empower, I believe it's called, John Takagi.
Yes, sir. Empower with some extra R's.
Yeah, with the 3 R's at the end. All women's pay-per-view, and it's like that's the best move Mickie could do. But Deonna was not happy. You know, Mickie kind of ruined her moment. It's just not. So who knows if Deonna's going to show up to that? She's definitely going to be the main event if she does. Especially if she goes down to Mexico and beats their champion before this pay-per-view happens. So we'll see what happens with Deonna going forward. And John Takagi, we had a fatal 4-way match. Last minute change here. TJP wasn't medically cleared. Not sure if Dragunov got to him too, but
yes. So we would have Violent by Design defending against the Good Brothers, Willie Mack and Rich Swann, and Fala and his last-minute addition tag team partner, No Way Jose. So this was a really fun 4-way, but as most things go when these gentlemen are in the house, we would get some action behind the referee's back. Karl Anderson would hit a gun stun behind the ref's back, and No Way Jose would fall at the feet of Doc Gallows, who tagged himself in. Rhino was down from the gun stun. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention who it was that he hit the gun stun on. Rhino was down. Anderson was already in the ring. Gallows tags himself in blindly on No Way Jose. And the same old formula, a magic killer and a 1-2-3. And the Bullet Club, the Elite, whatever you want to call them, are back in control of those Impact tag team titles.
And there was the only tag titles that changed hands as well. Decay, the team of Rosemary and Havoc, they defeated Fire and Flavor on the Countdown show, and I really don't want to talk about it, so we'll just skip that one. They'll get him back.
It was Kira who took the pin, so that's at least got to lighten your mood a little bit.
A little bit. John Smith is that, you know, when we started the show, you've never watched Impact before in your entire life. You watch it for the past year now. I know you enjoy it, you like it, but this was your first Ultimate X experience. How was it?
That's what I was going to lead off with. Yeah, I've never seen one live before, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. You know, my original pick last week was Trey Miguel, but I switched over to Josh Alexander, not to copy anybody. I think a few other people had him, but you know, I thought more about it. They keep not giving Trey anything, and I keep picking him, but whatever. So, Rohit had some quality stuff going on, reaching for that belt at the beginning, standing on a chair, grabbing like a pole, and he's trying to grab it from up high. He couldn't reach the rope from the top rope, and you know, he got some good Rohit going on in that match. Petey Williams with that super destroyer off the guy's shoulders off the top rope. That was one of the craziest moves I've probably ever seen in wrestling. Like, as far as danger is concerned, that was unbelievable. Way more stuff that I can't even remember. And Alexander, of course, deserves to keep that belt, and he did. He had a couple good fights up there with his good leg strength, holding on with his legs, fighting him for it. Ace Austin looked like he was going to grab the belt out of his end. I forget who he was fighting over the belt with. Bay, maybe. Yeah, they were fighting over the belt. Ace Austin looked like he was about to grab it because they already had it unhooked from the top. They raised it up, and then he knocked Bay down and took that belt, and I think he deserves it.
Yeah, Josh Alexander. He's the best wrestler they got. And he's an actual wrestler. He has the earmuffs to prove it. And what they didn't show on air, there was a backstage exclusive that I kind of want to throw out here real quick. The altercation, long story short, with Rohit Raju and Chris Bay in Chris Bay's dressing room. Bay threw Rohit out. They go, don't forget to take your shirt with you. And Rohit's like, this isn't my shirt. Threw it back. Bay opened it up, and it was a Bullet Club shirt. So not sure if that's an invitation. Not sure if that's like a Godfather, horse in the bed type threat. Horse head in the bed type threat here. No idea. It was confusing. But Chris Bay is on the radar of the Bullet Club in some way, shape, or form. So we see Jay White now. There's T-shirts popping up. I guess there's only one way to find out what happens, and that's, tune in on Thursday. They own the night till football starts. Show Matt Cardona, his mystery partner, to no surprise, was a hot mess. Chelsea Green, his fiancée, they defeated Brian Myers and Tennille Dashwood after an unprettier by Chelsea onto Tennille. Fun little thing that stems off this. Their next Impact Plus show is called Homecoming. Well, we will crown Homecoming Kings and Queens. It'll be a mixed tag team tournament, which I think is a lot of fun. There's some fun couples, I guess, that could get together. They have more than enough knockouts to do this. I'm sure Chelsea and Matt will be a team. Not sure if Tennille would want to stay with Myers or go with Caleb. I know Deanna, her boyfriend, is in Impact now. I can't remember. What was his name? It's Cutler. What was his name in
Macklin.
Thank you. Yeah, whiskey drinking Macklin. I like him. So they could be a team. Who knows? So it could be a lot of fun. But that is on July 31st. That's at the end of the month. We're gonna be picking that pretty soon. Hopefully the brackets come out and we'll have some fun. Saw a promo kind of threw me off a little bit. Long live the drama queen, drama king. Then it got spoiled for me. Does anyone want the spoiler? John Smith, do you want the spoiler? John DeConnie?
I heard it this morning.
I heard this morning too. So Aiden English has apparently signed an Impact contract. He is the drama king. He will be showing up on Thursday nights at some point going forward. So good to see Aiden English back. And then John Smith got a hard-hitting contest here. W. Morrissey, Eddie Edwards, they went at it.
Yes, a nice back and forth action. Morrissey looked strong. Eddie Edwards didn't look too weak. The end of the match, Morrissey still couldn't get the upper hand, so he pulled the chain out from his boot. It took him a little too long. He really secured that thing to his boot. It took him about 30 seconds to get that off his boot. But he punched Eddie in the face with it, gave him a nice Diesel-style jackknife powerbomb for the victory. Should have put his hand up in the air afterwards.
Put a cigarette out on his back.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just reading. Gary Mehaffy is in the private chat right now going over Chris Bay ready meals. Chris Bay duck, Chris Bay bacon, Chris Bay shrimp, Chris Bay dumplings. I'm not getting it. Gary's still backstage right now. Gary, I'm going to bring you in real quick. Gary, what the hell are you doing?
What? I'm just entertaining myself because we've all these things over here that are crispy pancakes and crispy ducks and crispy whatever. I just every time I hear Chris Bay, I think crispy. Sorry, I'm just entertaining myself.
Have at it, Gary. We'll talk to you a little bit. Keep going. Really? What the hell is he doing? All right. Madman Fulton and Mahi Balashira, they were pissed off. They were barred from ringside during Ultimate X, so Scott D'Amore came out with Finjuice to fight the two of them since they were in fighting moods. And then Finjuice beat him in like 5 seconds. If you blinked like John Smith did, you missed it.
Yeah, I was driving at the time. I didn't even know the match existed until a day later.
And then probably one of the biggest upsets. I wouldn't call it an upset. I'm just pissed over it. I am such a Chris Bay. Like Chris Bay is up with the Miz to the point where I should never bet against him. And I bet against Chris Sabin, and he ended up winning. And he came out, and I'm just like, why didn't I bet on Sabin? Like I'm totally rooting hard for him. And this is such a huge spot and a huge match with him. Why didn't I take it? If Moose would have won, I actually would have forfeited the 3 points. But I guess didn't have to worry about that. But Chris Sabin got the win over Moose via the Raw roll-up, which is ironic. Neither of them are WWE guys. So Kind of weird how that. And this will not be the last time we mention that match. Ryan Joy has a gripe with that match as well. We will talk about that with him once we bring him in. But we are going to switch gears now to NXT. They had a honey of a show as well. Before Karrion Kross was victimized by the Royal Roll-Up, not doing his research, he actually defended the NXT Championship, John Smith.
Yeah, and it was a lot more of a back and forth contest than I thought it was going to be. I thought he was just going to be squashing Johnny and then Samoa Joe getting in the way, and then more squash and then Joe getting in the way. But it was a nice match, nice flow to it. Of course, Joe did get in the way at one point. Kross was beating him up against the ropes, and after the 4 count, he ripped Kross off and pushed him towards the ropes. So, he provoked Kross. So after Kross went and choked Johnny the F out, he went and did the same thing to Samoa Joe at the end, and rightfully so.
Yeah, it's interesting to see where Joe goes from here, because he is a WWE official, NXT official. I don't know if he's medically. I guess if he's taking these moves, I guess he has to be, technically medically cleared. Who knows if this is going to be the answer? Now Karrion Kross getting the quote unquote call up potentially. I don't know if he's going to stay there. He doesn't have a great win-loss record on Raw.
Oh Jesus!
He's going to have to drop that belt at some point soon. So just real quick, I forgot to bring up the Impact standings. Ryan Joy, he made up some ground, 60 points. He went 7-1. John Smith is still in the lead as he went 6-2 with 51 points, switching over to Josh Alexander. 25. I'm in second place in between the two. John Nakani's not too far behind. Tyler's batting 500. So there you go. So back to NXT. Kyle O'Reilly had to sit down with Wade Barrett, saying he can beat and will beat Adam Cole. He just might have to go back to some of his Undisputed Era tactics that he's just trying to stay away from. So he might have to switch over to the dark side. He wants to get it done. But Adam Cole, on the other hand, sick and tired of talking about Kyle O'Reilly. He wants to talk about Samoa Joe. But then here comes Bronson Reed. I figured, where was he last night on Raw? I thought Bronson Reed was on the quote-unquote radar. But Bronson Reed wants some of Adam Cole as well. So Adam Cole's got a full plate right now. Bronson Reed wants him. Kyle O'Reilly wants him again. But Cole wants Joe. So this is a fun little thing that's going on with them. And then there was a match. We call it the John Smith Championship Invitation, whatever you want to call it. This is the dream match. Well, I guess there was a third person missing with Grimy, but he wasn't involved in this. But we had a dream match of John Smith between Dexter Lumis and Santos Escobar. If there are two guys that are Team Smith, this is Team Smith here.
Yeah, I definitely lit a few candles before I watched this match. We got Santos with a nice little promo beforehand saying how he wants that North American Championship still. Santos goes up against Dexter. Santos has Legado on his side. They end up getting involved eventually. Nice match in the interim. Dexter did all this stuff, slithering all over the place, staring a hole through everybody. Mm-hmm. Santos wins the match with help from his boys with a Phantom Driver. And then afterwards, when they walk up the ramp, we get the I almost called them the Hurt Business again. Jeez. We get Hit Row coming out to stare them down because they don't want their name in Santos's mouth. Indy comes out and tries to carry Dexter away. He gets like 3 steps and they both collapse and they're about to kiss. And then Candice bum rushes Indy, is like, no, and pulls her away. So we still don't have that first kiss between the two of them.
No, we haven't. Yeah, Santos, he mentioned that the North American Championship. So again, yeah, Hit Rose, he's head in the mouth. Speaking of Cameron Grimes, I mentioned just Cameron Grimes just now. Cameron Grimes actually doing pretty good. He had a good first day of work. He was a little late. It was okay. But LA Knight got him cleaned up to look the part, and Grimy liked it. So, okay, good. Grimes was okay mowing LA Knight's lawn, even with that little push mower, because that's what he had to do growing up. Because Grimy was right at home with that. And then he was paid somebody else to do it. This is the fun part when you got a millionaire being a servant. You just pay somebody else to do it. LA Knight's not having fun with this. This is actually kind of funny. It's funny how you knew there was jokes here. I guess I just never saw the backfire that Grimy would actually like this. So we're looking forward to see what's going forward in LA Knight's world with Cameron Grimes as his servant. Saray, about your damn luck, Gigi Dolan. Saray got the win after her patented side suplex. That was after a drop kick that almost decapitated Gigi Dolan. That was amazing. If you guys go back and watch that, I can't even bend that far back how far her neck snapped back. But the interesting thing about this match, Mandy Rose made an appearance. I guess there's a lot of movement with the rosters right now, and even with the draft happening after SummerSlam, Mandy Rose now, I guess I've seen a lot on Twitter today. What's Mandy going to do next with NXT? What's Mandy going to do next with NXT? So I guess it's official that Mandy Rose will now be an NXT superstar and performing on Tuesday nights. Don't know about Dana Brooke, but John Smith right now, Dana Brooke nowhere to be found.
I love it. I love it. I love it. The second I saw Mandy Rose, the only thing I thought was no more Dana Brooke.
Exactly.
No more Dana Brooke. Thank God.
This isn't you're not cheering for Mandy. You're happy Mandy's still on TV. This is more Dana Brooke than it is.
100%.
John DeConnie, I spy another Jersey girl. Jersey didn't have a bad week. We lost the Knockouts tag titles, but we did well to a point. Like I said, we have Jersey on both sides here. Casey and Caden, they had a match with the Robert Stone brand.
Yes, indeed, and it was a short match because it was more about the drama than anything else. But of course, we did get Casey and Caden winning with that neckbreaker 450 splash combo. Yep. They hit it on Aaliyah. Casey covered her for the win, about 3 minutes 25 seconds. But afterwards, Robert Stone got a little squawky, got a little bit in Aaliyah's face. And Aaliyah gave it right back to him and said, I've done way more for you than you've ever done for me. Yeah. And she asked him the age-old question, what did the five fingers say to the face? Slap. And slap. And then she went on to the crowd popped like crazy for that. So she went on to, stomp a mud hole in him, kick him around. And then she left with a smile and just kind of, walked right up the ramp, which brought Frankie Monet out. She was kind of talking to Kamea. Her and Jesse Kamea kind of left, and Robert was kind of a few steps behind, but kind of still with them. And who knows what the hell is going on with that group. But most importantly, Aaliyah now stands on her own, which frees her up to maybe travel, let's say.
Maybe I saw something differently from you. I thought I saw Robert Stone just go. Just tell Jesse, just go. Like,
yeah, but later on, he was hanging out with them backstage when Mandy Rose came across. So, who knows?
Yeah, all right. And Robert Stone is keep your head up, Robbie. Hashtag Jersey Strong. There's the other half of Jersey right there. Robert Stone, Robbie E.
Looks like Frankie Monet's taken that brand over. I think it's going to be called The Brand, it seems like. And Robert Stone might be like the lackey of the group.
He's gonna be getting coffee and picking up after.
Exactly.
He's the new Reginald.
That would actually be an interesting match: Reggie versus Robert Stone. Robert Stone can go. No one, we haven't seen him wrestle yet. Like Robert Stone is a former Impact Tag Team Champion. Like he's not a slouch. He doesn't wear socks, but he's not a slouch here. So let's just he can go. Speaking of guys who can go, Pete Dunne and Oney Lorcan, they were backstage interview. Interrupted by Thatcher, followed by a flying Tommaso Ciampa. So that turned into a huge cluster bleep, and they're going to get at it at some point. So we'll talk about that another time. The Breakouts tournament started. Like I said, now it's starting to make sense why they had to have a Breakout tournament now, because they're losing pretty much, I'd say, about a quarter of their roster to Raw and SmackDown. Duke Hudson, formerly known as Brandon Dink, he got the win over Iki Manjiro with the Boss Man Slam to advance in the tournament. We do not have any brackets. We have no update as of right now what the next tournament match is going to be tonight. So it's going to be tough to pick. So who knows? We have two matches scheduled for tonight that we do know of. First off, Tyler Russ defeated Bobby Fish in a one-on-one competition after a distraction from Roddy leading to something, a post-match attack that never happened because Kushida came out. So we're going to have Kushida, the Cruiserweight Champion, teaming with Bobby Fish. That sounds like a very vicious animal, the Kushida Fish. They're going to go against the Diamond Mine, represented by Roderick Strong and Tyler Russ. John the County, you laughed at my joke. Who do you got?
Oh, my God. You know what? Fish took a beating at the hands of the Diamond Mine, so I say he gets it back here. Him and Kushida get it back.
I can't even put this on here. So Gary asked a question. If Hornswoggle joined Legado del Fantasma, would he be Santos' little helper? Santos' little helper?
Oh, my God. Dad joke 101 right
That's
there.
it.
Love it.
Who do you got?
I got the Diamond Mine winning this one. I think Kushida will take the pin. I think the extra members of Diamond Mine will be the difference here.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go Diamond Mine as well. I'll go Roddy. They're new, right? They have to win at least the first couple in the beginning. The new guys don't always win in the beginning, right? Dakota Kai, she started the show with a win over Ember Moon with a draping disaster kick. Post-match, here comes Xia Li, and she blew right past Dakota and got in Raquel Gonzalez's face. And Dakota got pissed about that. Like, I got pissed about that she got overlooked. She does not like to be overlooked. Ask Tegan Knox about that. So it's booked. Raquel said, if you want a shot, you got it, and it's right away. So a lot of women's championships have been on the line. The NXT Women's Championship, no exception. Raquel Gonzalez will defend against Xia Li. John Smith, you were clapping. This is going to be one of her tougher tests, John.
Yeah, I've been calling for Xia Li to be the one to take it from her, and I think I'm going to pick her. I'm taking Xia Li in this one, especially because it's not for points. But like this is what I thought was going to happen. So I'm an NXT guy, so I'm just going to roll with what I've been saying. You know.
All right, John DeConnie.
You know, this would be, I think, maybe the right person to take it off Raquel, but Jesus, unless she's getting called up this week, this is way too soon. So I'm gonna pick Xia Li, but only because I think Dakota is like 5 minutes into the match just gonna decide she's still pissed off from last week and punch Xia Li in the head, and she wins by DQ.
Okay, yeah. If looks could kill, normally, Dakota Kai is easy to look at, but she was just pissed. I think you saw that look, and then she kicked Tegan in the face. That's what happens when you see that look. This could go a whole bunch of ways, and I don't think Raquel's going to get called up until she fights Dakota. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they just have to scrap that. Like this whole Saray and Toni Storm had to get scrapped. Tegan and Candice had to get scrapped, because of the call-ups. So I guess, who knows? So, gentlemen, that will do it again. We're going to take a small break from you guys. We're going to bring in from minutestobelltime.com, we have Ryan Joy. Ryan, how are things going today in the independent land?
Oh, do I have a treat for you? I have a treat for you. We're going to talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling. We got a Tokyo Dome show this weekend. And on the pre-show of that Tokyo Dome show, we have a match that features Toru Yano. It is called a Rambo. It is kind of like a Royal Rumble. And it's kind of like a battle royal. It's kind of like a street fight. And it's kind of like Survivor Series. It's every man for himself. Battle royal, pinfalls, submissions, throw over the top rope. Plus, because it's a KOPW match, you can also lose if you happen to get handcuffed to the ropes or to the ringside barrier. So The only person I know in the match is Yano. So he will be the guy I pick.
Yeah, that's the handcuffs. He's going to bring out like 20 pairs of handcuffs, and he's just going to have a day.
I believe the way it works is the handcuffs will be pre-cuffed to the top ropes into the barrier. And so if you could get cuffed by, getting too close or something like that. So,
yeah.
Now,
I was hoping to be like Barrel of Monkeys. You chain all 20 guys together. That'd be hysterical.
Now, if you get cuffed, though, you must remain there for the rest of the match. So it could be a situation where you've got guys cuffed to the top rope all over the place that are eliminated, but they have to stay there. So, faction affiliations and stuff could come in.
Yeah, who's holding the key though? Does Yano have it? Does a referee have it? Like that's.
Yeah, I maybe they have to stay there for the whole event. I don't know.
Yeah.
Call the police then. So that's match 1 from the Tokyo Dome. Like I mentioned, it's a big show. Tokyo Dome is 40,000 people or so. So hopefully they are able to do this. Japan has had a lot of issues with COVID and stuff, but they've got the Olympics going and stuff. So let's not worry about that. Also, Rocky Romero is teaming up with Ryusuke Taguchi. Ryusuke Taguchi is the guy who has the words or the numbers 69 on his pants. We'll get to that in a second. He is facing El Phantasmo and Taiji Ishimori for the IWGP Junior Tag Team titles. Taguchi, the reason he has the 69 on his pants is because he's the 69th IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, not that he's perverted in some way.
No,
but
there's always that guy, Ryan. I play adult league softball. I have a guy with number 69 on my team. I'm 96. I don't have as much luck.
Yeah, no, I guess not. So those guys are challenging for the tag titles, and then for the junior tag titles, for the junior title, Robbie Eagles makes a return. He is facing El Desperado for the IWGP Junior title. Robbie Eagles has been kind of missing in action since the beginning of the pandemic. So he's making his return. He's a former ally of Will Ospreay, who has also been missing in action since he got injured earlier this year. But good to have Robbie Eagles back. Kazuchika Okada versus Jeff Cobb. This should be maybe steal the show, on this one. So we'll see. It's just a singles match. There's nothing at stake here except for a win at the Tokyo Dome, and probably sets up the next challenger for the belt. But Sonata and Naito, they are defending the tag team championships against Zack Sabre Jr. and Tai Chi. That's in the semi-main. And then in the main event, Kota Ibushi versus Shingo Takagi for the IWGP World Heavyweight Butterfly Championship. That is the main event. I'm going to go Shingo in this because this belt has been a curse ever since it was established by Kota Ibushi himself. They've not been able to get off the ground running with this thing, and I think Shingo's our guy to do it, so I'm picking Shingo to win this and go on a run here.
All right, I completely agree with that. It's one makes 100%. Yeah, you got to start establishing champion. Yeah,
you can't have this situation where one guy loses his first defense, the next guy gets injured, and then the third guy he loses. So you got to stop someplace and get it established. So that's what's happening in New Japan this weekend. Also, MLW this weekend, they're having the broadcast debut of Battle Riot, which they taped a couple of weeks ago in Philadelphia. That also is a battle royal. It's a no DQ street fight battle royal where their people come in every 60 seconds, so it's kind of like the Royal Rumble, and the winner gets a shot at Jacob Fatu. I have managed to stay spoiler-free, but the smart money is on Alexander Hammerstone winning and getting a shot against Jacob Fatu.
All right. Sounds good, right? Anything else we want to do before we bring in John and go over Fyter Fest?
Let's talk Fyter Fest.
That's what I like to hear. Here we go. So we're going to bring in John Smith. We're going to bring in John Takagi. Brian, I was actually a little confused going into Fyter Fest last week. A coffin match. I thought it was like you had to suffocate the I thought it was that. I didn't realize it was an actual casket.
No, that must be your dialect in Jersey or something. Because the word you're looking for there would be a coughing match. No, it wasn't that. It was a coffin match. Which coffin and caskets, those are synonyms. I think. I don't know if there's any difference there. But it was a coffin match. WWE.
One has the lights on. True. One's not sanctioned. One's a championship eliminator. One's a championship contenders.
There you go. Yep. So Darby, it's Darby Allin versus Ethan Page in a coffin match. Darby has a hot start to the match, like he typically does. Darby tends to be the guy that runs at his opponent before the bell, and that's what happened here. In this case, though, he had a metal plate strapped to his back. So,
any fond memories of that? John Takagi, any fond memories of that? The steel plate.
Bret Hart Goldberg, baby.
But it was strapped to Bret's abdomen, not his back.
But, yes, but still, there's still this.
Yeah. So Darby, he does that in the beginning. Scorpio Sky's hiding in the coffin. That guy's creepy. Who hides in a coffin? Sting eventually comes out to chase Scorpio Sky away. Darby Allin, he eventually gets Ethan Page in the coffin, closes the lid. That signifies the end of the match, but not the end of Darby's activities. He must do something completely stupid before the end of the show. So he climbs to the top turnbuckle, and he does a coffin drop into the coffin through the top of the lid or whatever. Completely unnecessary. It seemed incredibly dangerous. I hope that somebody has a sizable life insurance plan on this man.
We had one one non-recognized championship match, John the Connie, that you discussed in length with Ryan Joy on the Daily Wrestling News Show. The FTW Championship was on the line. Ryan Joy got it right. We all got it wrong, and it was damn.
Yeah, in the end, it was one of those ones where you just say afterwards, "How the hell did I not see that coming?"
Yeah, I know.
Like in the talk along thread that night, someone had asked the question like, "Okay, so how do they get the belt off of Cage here?" And literally, I answered it as if I hadn't picked Brian Cage, and played out almost exactly what would play out. So we had about a 9.5-minute match here. You forget just how good Ricky Starks is because we haven't seen him in the ring in so long. And Cage, just how good he is at his size. I mean, the two of them put on a hell of a match, but the guts of it was all in the last almost minute. Taz is on commentary the whole time he's playing, kind of calling it down the middle, pretending like he doesn't care one way or another. And Starks makes his way to ringside. The FTW title is like sitting on the ring apron. He goes to grab it, but Hobbs pulls it away from him, as if to say, no, Team Taz plays by the rules here. I'm not going to allow you to hit our teammate with this belt. And 20 seconds later, Brian Cage whips Starks into the ropes, just misses with a discus clothesline, and Hobbs blasts Brian Cage in the face with the FTW title. And Starks hits a spear, which is a little bit odd coming from a guy who's 185 pounds on a guy who's 270. But he hits the spear on Brian Cage for the 1, 2, 3, and Taz declares, "I love it!" And he gets up and celebrates with the rest of Team Taz as Brian Cage has, maybe not officially, but kind of unofficially been given the boot from the black and orange brand.
Yeah, so in the history of the FTW Championship, this is belt holder number 4.
If
Taz,
you
Sabu,
don't,
and Cage.
if you don't recognize Chris Chetty and Danny Doring, yes,
The televised champions, right?
All right, John Smith. Here he goes. AEW ripping off 1996 or 1998, 1999. Christian and Matt Hardy went at it.
Yeah, this was more like
Prince.
This was more like stepping into a time machine to like 04, but like once they were singles wrestlers, short hair Christian, long hair Matt. It's more like V1 versus the obnoxious Christian that was with DDP for a little while. The opening lockup lasted 30 seconds. They were all over the place, stayed locked up, rolled out of the ring against the posts and everywhere. Then they started just, going at it on the outside. Nice back and forth. These guys know each other so well. So, they had themselves a great match. I'm not going to say anything bad about this match. So, we all expected Christian to win it. He did. So Al got what he wanted, so all's right with the world, and this will probably not be over yet.
I thought it was an episode of Antique
my
Roadshow.
TNA Christian Cage shirt on right now. What was that, Ryan?
I said I thought it was an episode of Antiques Roadshow.
Yeah. We're gonna party like it's 1999. Rip it off, Prince. Apparently, pro wrestling is, in fact, scripted, since Andrade's promo was spelled right out in front of us in closed captioning. Is this English really that bad? Like, I understood everything he was saying. Anyway. He's looking for the death triangle, as we all read. And according to Dave Chappelle, modern problems require modern solutions. Guys, parents, if your kids are watching too much TV, hit mute, put on closed captioning, and now they're reading.
I want to see Andrade versus all three of those guys in the Death Triangle.
Yeah.
That's like, that made me so excited right now.
Yes.
3 layers of Andrade.
Malister Black or Alakai Black or whatever he's calling himself now, told the story of Old Yeller, but with a horse. Then he appeared in the ring, and him and Cody brawled a bit before they were pulled apart, so look for that to happen. All Out's up in a couple of weeks, right? So they can stretch that out to that. Sammy Guevara defeated Wheeler Yuta after the GTH. Go to hell? Is that what that stands for? It's going to go to something, so. Right? So I'm assuming H is hell, right? Does it go to home? Go to house?
Hell.
Hell? Okay. Ryan, and then we got the return the first time in, 16 months? Yuka Sakazaki. Did I say that right? Yuka Sakazaki. She returned and was on Dynamite television.
Yeah, we've seen her this year in an AEW ring, but not stateside. She was part of the tournament earlier this year. So she has a pretty good record this year. She got to win over Penelope Ford here using the Magical Girl Splash, which is springboard 450 type of thing or something or other. But anyway, it was kind of a short match. But I think the big thing here is look for her to be wrestling Britt Baker in the not too distant future, because Britt Baker and Yuka Sakazaki have some unfinished business from over a year ago that needs to be finished in the long-term pantheon of AEW.
All right, and speaking of long-term grudges, Hangman Page wants the challenge for the AEW Championship. Kenny Omega responded with a 5-on-5 elimination match where if the Elite win, then Hangman Page does not get his title shot. And he doesn't. I believe he doesn't get one. This is a championship eliminator match, pretty much, right? And he doesn't get one for the rest of Kenny Omega's duration as champion, possibly. But if Hangman Page and the Dark Order, whatever 4 members of the Dark Order he picks, if they win, then Page gets a title shot, and the Dark Order gets a World Tag Team title match against the Young Bucks. So that was not announced. The dumb assumption was it was going to be tomorrow night. Maybe in 2 weeks. They have one more event. They have the Fight for the Fallen in 2 weeks. So maybe it'll main event that. But we have Fyter Fest Night 2 coming up. But before we get to that, here, Ryan Joy, our new leader, our overall standings. Ryan Joy, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, absolutely killed it last week. 19-1 out of the 20 matches. Moose was the one that got him. Chris Sabin with the Royal Rumble. But he had 2 perfect pay-per-views. Hit the 400-point mark already. 63 wins overall. Has a nice, sizable lead. My math is correct. What is that? 27 points, 37 points. Somewhere in there. Over me. I got to carry the one somewhere. And then we all go down from there. Tyler, again, bats 500. Gary, not too good of a week, 11-9. Everybody else did pretty good for what we were dealing with. Here is actually with those 2 perfect pay-per-views, Ryan Joy has now taken the lead and broken the 3-way tie or 4-way tie with myself, Gary, and John Smith. So Ryan is now in the lead with that. Here are our AEW overall standings. Ryan is in the lead here as well. He went 6-0 last week at Fyter Fest. Everybody else went 5-1, and all those ones were pretty much on Brian Cage, with the exception of Travis. I believe Travis got Ricky Starks correct, but then he bet on Matt Hardy. How do you do that? Anyway, here is the scoring for Fyter Fest coming up. It's the same as it was last week. 5 points for the AEW title match, 3 points for all other recognized titles, 1 point for non-title matches. Anything interpromotional gets the added point bonus. And if you go perfect, just like Ryan did last week, you get an extra 5 points. John Moxley, he defeated Karl Anderson last week with the paradigm shift to retain the IWGP United States Championship. Lance Archer wants his rematch that he never got from their Texas death match in Japan at Wrestle Kingdom. So they had a Texas death match in Japan. Why can't this be a Japanese death match in Texas, Ryan?
Well, you know, the Japanese death matches tend to have explosions and things like that, and AEW doesn't have a great history with those, so I think they're toning it down. I think that would be my guess. But since you put it to me, finally, I noticed you go through all those things where I'm at the top of all those lists. You never take a break, never give me a chance to acknowledge the fact that I'm on top and be able to raise my hands and say, John Smith, I'm coming for you at the top of that Impact list. It'll take a lot of those 1 month specials to get there, though.
Yeah.
So, in any event, back to the match. I think Jon Moxley's going to win this. I'm not betting against Moxley. I would love to see Lance Archer win because he's just been to so many title matches and not getting away with a win. But I don't think they're taking the belt off Mox. Not on a Dynamite.
I don't think so. He's already taken one pinfall too many on Dynamite, in my opinion, John McConney.
Yeah, you know, stop me if you heard this one before. What do you do with Lance Archer if he fails at another title shot? Like,
I've heard this one before.
Do we just say that because he's big, he's bulletproof? What the hell? I'm going to go with Archer here because the Elite can get involved. You know, not necessarily to help out Archer, but just to screw over Moxley. The Elite can get involved in some way. Give me Archer.
All right. I like that. Balls. Look at the balls on John the Con. There we go. Balls. John Smith.
Yeah, you know what? I like it. I'll go with it. Give me Lance Archer.
Okay, Ryan, I'll side with you, pal. I got Moxley. I'm not gonna take this. Yeah, like I said, John Moxley's already been pinned one too many times on Dynamite, so I just kind of feel like I don't know. But
19-2, is that what I'm hearing from the guys on the bottom?
That's
19-2.
Okay, so Maxwell Jacob Friedman announced the 5 labors of Jericho. I guess this is the first. It's the labor with a U, right? I guess I don't know. There was a U on something. I saw LABOURS. Anyway, but this one is the first step up is Shawn Spears, and the stipulation of the match is that only Shawn Spears can use a chair. John DeConnie.
And it's not going to matter because Chris Jericho is going to take because, well, let's be honest. We're eventually getting that MJF match, so he's got to.
You would think that. I don't know. You would think that. I think he's running the table. John Smith.
Yeah, Jericho will find a way to make use of the chairs. He'll hold him into one that's standing up. He'll, kick one into his face that he's holding. So, yeah, Jericho wins this one.
All right, Ryan Joy.
Chris Jericho. Nothing to add.
All right, I'm going to take Jericho as well. Maybe he doesn't get there then. Maybe something like a random. Like he's got like on stage 4, like he loses, or stage 5, the only one he has to beat is Tully Blanchard, and he doesn't. Like he's got to fight Tully. You have to get 5 to get to, or is MJF 5?
I think it's you have to get through
MJF
5.
Okay. In a match that was announced this morning, Frankie Kazarian, the Elite Hunter, he's going to be fighting Doc Gallows. This is an interpromotional match against one half of the new Impact Tag Team Champions, John Smith.
That's how much one. Yeah, it's Doc Gallows.
You mean Festus?
Festus, yes.
Yeah.
3 people.
And he's
Ted told me that this morning.
Who's he fighting?
Frankie the Future Kazarian. Yeah. Listen to me talk 2002. Frankie Kazarian.
Yeah, give me Sex Ferguson.
Sex Ferguson is the greatest. Ryan Choi.
It is a little tough because Luke Gallows is so well protected. He's never the guy that takes the pin, right? It's always the machine gun taking the pin. But in this situation, like, I feel like Frankie is doing the same thing that Chris Jericho is doing, except against the Elite. This is going to be like the first labor of Kazarian here. So I'm going to go ahead and give it to Frankie.
Mm-hmm. All right. I got Doc Gallows with the numbers game, John Connie.
Give me Kaz. You can't call yourself the Elite Hunter and then go out in your first sanctioned match and lose to a member of the Elite. Damn it.
I mean, to be honest, I mean, just because he's a hunter doesn't mean he gets what he's hunting. Look at Elmer Fudd. He was a hunter.
Vastly rapid.
Orange Cassidy and the Blade. This is stemming off a mixed tag team match they had a couple weeks ago. A lot of Brax Knucks have been used in this feud. They're going to go one-on-one, Ryan Joy.
Yeah, Orange Cassidy's definitely going to win this match. I don't think unfortunately, the Butcher and the Blade, whether singles or as a tag, they're fun, but they don't win very many matches outside of Dark. So, Orange Cassidy.
John Takagi.
Yes, I have to concur with that assessment. The Blade's a lot of fun to watch. Not a lot of victories. Give me Orange Cassidy.
All right. John Smith.
Yeah, give me the golden boy, the orange boy.
Yeah, the orange boy, right? Yeah, I'll go with Orange Cassidy as well. And then what I'm hoping will be the main event, if they kicked off last week with the IWGP United States Championship, might as well just start it off again, get the crowd going in hot. The AEW Women's Championship will be on the line as the Good Doctor. We'll see Nyla Rose now. So this has been brewing since Nyla Rose threw a cheeseburger at Britt Baker during Britt Baker's championship celebration. Celebration bitches. Ryan Joy as our senior AEW correspondent. Does the Good Doctor get it done?
Yeah, she does. I don't see any scenario where. Well, hang on. I think Britt Baker leaves with the title. Now, I could see a scenario where somehow Britt Baker doesn't win the match, but Britt Baker's going to carry that title at least to Pittsburgh, where she's, it's the big Britsburg series of events that are happening in August. So I'm going to pick Britt Baker to win this match. I think it's a good first win for her. She should run through a former champion like Nyla Rose.
All right. John DeConnie.
Yeah, what he said. Give me Britt Baker.
John Smith, care to make it unanimous?
100%.
Okay. So that will do it for Fighter Fest Night 2. We have a question from Gary Mehaffy. Gary, I'm going to bring you in for the close here. You had a question about a possible family trend here with Nyla Rose and somebody?
Yeah, if Nyla was related to John Cena, because when the graphic came up, I couldn't see her. So I wondered if it was like...
Gary's what happens. Gary stayed backstage the entire time. Usually he's out about 5 minutes after he hears the trash talk from John Smith after his segment. Gary stayed on the whole time, so we'll leave you on at the end of the show. Why not? We're going to go through some stuff from let people know. We're going to break some news at the end of this, too. But first things first, we have the primetime rundown powered by StreamYard with Joey Jarzinka, Ian Schreier, and Rob DeLuca. Is now airing at 7 p.m. on Monday nights as they take you through the world of sports right here on all of the Eastern Observer platforms. For more information, please go to theeasternobserver.com. Tune into the Daily Wrestling News Show Monday through Thursday and sometimes Fridays at 10 a.m. and get your morning cup of joy with Ryan and his band of merry co-hosts as they explore through all the hogwash, also right here on all of the Eastern Observer platforms. The Body Slam Brigade newsletter, over 4,400 subscribers received this weekly column. Make sure you go to minutestobelltime.com to subscribe. The Body Slam Brigade by Ryan for you for free. The Black Cats NYC, their new album, Free Cake. Please go to all of these music providers. You can go to Deezer, YouTube, Spotify, Pandora to get the official band of the Eastern Observer, the Black Cats NYC, and their new album, Free Cake. As always, the Essential Wrestling Podcast is sponsored by ProWrestlingPick'em.com, the internet leader in sports entertainment pick'em pools. Join us in the East, God damn it, I did it again. I can't get through this read without getting my E's mixed up. Join us in the Essential Wrestling Podcast public pool to play against us or create a private pool with you and your friends on ProWrestlingPick'em.com. Play against the friends, play against your friends, play against the universe, and guys, she will like it too. Join us next week for episode 64 of the Essential Wrestling Podcast right here at 6 p.m. on all of the viewing options. The way you are watching the show right now, you will be able to watch next week. Again, we should be back live pending my softball playoff schedule, which is why I had to pre-tape this ahead of time. James Wheeler, we apologize for not getting to any of your comments. Hopefully we'll be talking to you next week. And breaking news out of the Eastern Observer, we have our SummerSlam special booked Saturday, 3 p.m. Join us for our SummerSlam special on August 21st. Let us be your SummerSlam pre-show. Go and have our panel of so-called experts do a deep dive into all the matches on the card and make our picks for this annual summertime showcase. And I'm so happy I found such a great picture of the Ultimate Warrior, that match that got me into wrestling after he bum rushed the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time. That is his celebration picture. Celebration pictures.
Charlie Murphy.
Gary, anything? The private chat still going. You still going, Gary? There you go. Anything can happen in WWE. Gary, you still there?
What? Sorry, I was the wee word. I'm
go.
just busy. I'm just busy admiring my own creativity here. So it's fine. I'm not used to being here at this point. I don't know, so I'll do a wee dance if you want or something like with time.
I'm new. I don't know what to do.
Gary, you're going to be on the SummerSlam special?
Yes, I will be there. I will be on the
so
SummerSlam special. Yeah, that's the ladies will all be there to listen now and watch now.
All right, Ryan Joy, anything else you want to bring up?
No, just everybody should join me and John Smith tomorrow to talk about Jeff Hardy becoming the new NXT champion.
No!
We forgot to ask. Let's have a group discussion real quick. We got about 5 minutes. Does Jeff Hardy get it? Do we see Jeff Hardy tonight? Does he get an NXT championship match?
Oh my God! Maybe Jeff Hardy carrying across the match like a preliminary strike.
Oh,
yeah. Maybe Joe Throat makes him have like a match like wearing his suit or something, and Jeff Hardy
nothing says developmental territory like Jeff Hardy.
Oh my God! Yes.
John Takagi, anything from your end?
No, sir. I think we've hit it all.
All right, sounds good. So for Gary overseas in the UK, for John Takagi, John Smith, Brian Joy back down on the Treasure Coast. This is Karl with a K. Thank you so much for watching. Alexa Bliss, we love you. Larry, Steve, always in our hearts. John
Strong
Takagi,
legs.
Thanks for joining us. And as always, we wish you the best in all your future endeavors.
How are those s'mores coming along? I'm hungry.